Hi, I'm Taylor Sanger. As a high school student, I don't pay much attention to what happens in Washington. However, the recent congressional shift in power caught my attention. I never realized how decisions made in Congress affect my family, my community, and my future. I started asking questions.
They took that away from everybody. The election in November caused a changeover in the House. The Republicans won a majority of the seats, switching the power from Democrats to Republicans.
Both houses of Congress were both controlled by the Democratic Party as well as the presidency. And after the November elections, that has now shifted to a Republican-controlled House of Representatives, a democratically controlled Senate, and a Democratic president.
Partisanship is at an all-time high right now. It's kind of concerning when you look forward to see, will the House and the Senate be able to get anything done over the course of the next 2 years, or is it going to be political posturing to make their party look like the correct party?
Potential exists, I think, from here forward to for more disagreements at the federal level, which may end up impacting county government by a little bit more of a logjam at the federal level of funding and legislation.
There's a lot more votes that are going to end up in compromise. There might be some gridlock where you're not going to have things go as quickly, as smoothly, because one party is going to have to compromise with the other in the House and Senate to get anything done, to get anything accomplished.
Progressivism is a cancer.
The Republican Party has gone completely brain dead.
The far left does not want the USA to
Republicans trying to continue.
That the federal budget was on an unsustainable track.
As a local elected official, as a county commissioner, they affect us very directly because a lot of the funding that we receive comes from the federal government. A lot of those dollars go to our mental health, mental retardation programs, our children and youth services programs. So we are directly affected.
A lot of people don't realize maybe what goes on in Washington and how it impacts them until it does.
It is going to trickle down to county governments and city governments and local municipal governments, and we're going to have to do more belt tightening. We've done that already. We're going to have to do more of it because that's what the voters have said they want us to do.
Camden, okay, one of the most dangerous places to be in America, just lays off 150-some police officers. I don't think that's what we really need to do. Okay, that's Camden. Who knows what's coming next? Throughout the country, local government, state government, national government, there are going to be debates in terms of what are we cutting, what are we doing here, and ultimately the people are going to be the ones caught without the services that they need to have maximum quality of life.
We need to reform this in one way or another.
We need more cost-effective job creation policies because we're short over 10 million jobs.
Some accountability has to come along with that in order to achieve this overall goal of better care at a lower cost.
There's only two options. Either you raise taxes or you cut programs. And the Republicans are not big into the raising taxes side of things. You know, the Bush tax cut being extended for the next 2 years that just passed. I think both the House and the Senate passed that. Democrats and Republicans agreed. So if there's going to be a way to decrease that deficit, the Republicans are going to be very much pushing to cut some spending programs.
Congress always makes the pledge that they're going to reduce spending to control the deficit, but quite honestly, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be hurt in the process, and you know, and education is going to be one field that's going to fill the pinch.
We're going to have to respond accordingly. We may have to cut some services as well. If we have fewer dollars, we just are not going to be able to meet as many obligations as we currently do.
Each year we have to fight to get the funding. With a lame duck Congress, it's going to make it more difficult, especially in light of the fact that Republicans have pledged that they're not going to process earmarks. So, and some of the earmarks that they've been discussing are actually the programs that fund education. So it's going to be a tough road for us.
A lot of those programs, a lot of those spending programs that come through the Department of Education, the Department of Health and Human Services, you know, trickle down in terms of block grants to the states that then get trickled down into communities, so that, you know, our local community, whether it be the mental health, mental retardation programs that are funded through some of these block grants, the health care, Medicare, Medicaid cuts are going to impact, you know, doctors, local elderly retirement homes.
Yeah. I think that we will probably have to have a closer relationship with our local member of Congress, maybe fight a little bit harder for our piece of the pie, so to speak, in funding, and maybe a little bit more lobbying on behalf of some of our agencies for the funding for their programs.
How are we going to find ways to reduce that deficit gap?
We have lots of problems that need to be fixed, and it comes down to having both parties willing to work together and put aside their partisan grandstanding for a little bit and focus on the issues.
I suspect that we're going to really see a very lean time that's heading down the path for us.
It's going to take a long slog to get back to any kind of an economy that we would really like to live in.
Well, looks like the political landscape's a little rough. Looks like our generation has its work cut out for us.